there are so many reasons why I got into teaching.
One of the best things is the light bulb moment.
When you see a pupil suddenly understand something, that's really, really special.
Every child is so full of potential, and the thing that makes me proudest to be a teacher is seeing them realise what they are capable of.
I don't think any other job can give you the same satisfaction.
That's why I chose to teach.
You could get £26,000 tax-free to train. Search Apply to Teach. Selected subjects only, subject to eligibility.
For the first time in 13 years, the co-hosts of Gamertag Radio are going to have the first live recording in front of an audience during PodFest 2018. This live recording event is free to attend February 9th, 2018 from 6 to 7 p.m. It's going to take place at PodFest Multimedia Expo 2018 in Orlando, Florida. See Paris, Pete, and Danny live at PodFest 2018. For more information, head over to gamertagradio.com or podfest.us.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen. Podcasting since 2005. You're listening to Gamertag Radio. With your host, podcaster Hall of Famer Danny Pena, the always opinionated Paris Lilly, and from outside of the norm, Peter Toledo. This is Gamertag Radio.
Here we go.
Welcome to Gamertag Radio, episode 716. The host, Danny. And joining me this week, we have the whole Gamertag Radio crew in the house. Let's start with Paris. What's going on, Paris?
Hey, good morning, everyone. Congratulations to you on your Miami Hurricanes and them vaulting themselves into the playoff discussion as my Florida State Seminoles continue to fall into oblivion. Congrats to you guys. Take a sip of coffee now.
And also happy birthday to the homie Pete.
What up,
Pete? That's right. Happy birthday, brother.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, man. It's been a whirlwind last 12 hours. Yeah, man. University of Miami showed and proved they came to play last night. I was actually rooting for your Seminoles yesterday because I wanted them to beat Clemson, which would have given more credence to the to Miami's strength of schedule. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. I mean, it started to get a little hinky at the end, so they had an opportunity and they dropped. But yeah, man, University of Miami came to bring the pain last night, and it was eerily reminiscent of the 80s and early 90s Hurricanes, and it was good to be back in the spotlight. And I'm hoping for number 2. But something tells me that they'll be ranked number 3. But this isn't a sports show, so.
I know it's not a sports show, but we're making it one for 2 seconds. It really doesn't matter as long as you're in the top 4, because then you're in the playoff. You know what I'm saying? And if anything, if you're 2 or 3, you avoid Alabama in the first round, and that's kind of what you want to do. So you're all good.
And the way they've been playing, they play up to their competition, so. Like we saw that early in the season, they were kind of okay, but as they've been playing the higher ranked teams, they've come. So shout out to the Canes.
Yeah, and also shout out to my cousin Lee Luna, and now his wife, Dolores. We were celebrating their wedding yesterday, man. So I was very, very happy yesterday and kind of drunk yesterday too. That's so. So if you hear me right now, I'm kind of like exhausted and stuff, man. So. But yeah, shout out to my whole family. It was a lot of fun last night, man. So, all right. So we have a lot of topics to talk about. But first thing first, head over to gamertagradio.com. Listen to our past episodes. You can also find us on Spotify, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, and other podcast directories. Make sure to share it. And if you're listening to us through iTunes, make sure to give us a review. It will help us out big time. All right.
Send us your feedback or questions. Give us a call at 786-273-7GTR. Email us at fanmail@gamertagradio.com or leave a message on speakpipe.com/gamertagradio.
All right, so let's start with this news, man. Respawn. We were a huge fan of Respawn. That was like the biggest talk last week. EA bought Respawn Entertainment. I believe it was, over $400 million, right, guys?
Yeah, it was $340 million for the initial purchase, and then there's $140 million in bonuses that could potentially leapfrog the overall deal to $455 million. So, shout out to everybody that we know over at Respawn for I mean, it's been a little contentious. But, you know, shout out to the whole team who went from going from, you know, the Infinity War team and then breaking out onto their own and forming Respawn and now, you know, going into the EA collective. I see it as a benefit to them because they'll be having more resources from a staff and technological perspective. And I hope I just hope that this overall, you know, helps them succeed moving forward. I'm anxious to see what, you know, what their Star Wars offering is going to be, and obviously we know what Titanfall can do, and hopefully this will be an opportunity for them to bring out Titanfall the way it should be played, and marketed and sold in the right window.
It's the timing has been kind of weird because, you know, EA shut down Visceral Games, and just a couple of weeks later they made this announcement, you know. So I think they had to do that. This is me straight up guessing, but I think they had to do that in order for them to make this power move to purchase Respawn and everything. So it's been mixed. Like I know a lot of the fans are kind of scared about this move.
No, you are. I love how you're now projecting that onto all fans.
Hold on a second. I was going to say about me. I was going to say that about me. But I said this in the chat. I was like, I'm happy for them. But at the same time, I'm kind of nervous about it, you know, because I know the benefits of them making money, you know, Vince, you know, and his whole team getting a bonus and all that stuff. Like it's good, you know, for them. But as a fan, I just feel that, you know, they could easily get shut down, man. It happened with a lot of my favorite studios that no longer exist anymore. Bizarre Creations, they don't exist anymore. Look at Lionhead Studios. Like, there's a lot of studios that I love, and they're not around anymore, you know, because of this. So that's the bad side. The good side is, you're making extra money. You know, yes, you got more resources. It's just you guys also have to understand where I'm coming from too. You know, like I know you guys are talking only about the business part, but there's also the bad side, man. That's all I'm saying. You know, but the majority of people were freaking out online, though. They were freaking out online. It's like, come on. I mean, you guys don't have to freak out like that. It's okay. It's okay to have a conversation, you know? That's all.
Okay. Is it my turn? My turn. So
Go for it.
Go back to what I said 3 weeks ago. I literally called this 3 weeks ago, if you remember, when we're having the Cuphead discussion and we're talking about that indie studio potentially getting purchased by Microsoft at some point down the road. And this came up. And I even said then that Vince Zampella was the template for this happening, because let's go way back to their original history when he was still with Jason West and they were a part of EA, and they left EA, created Infinity Ward, went to Activision, got fired by Activision, and then created Respawn because they had the reputation at that point, having built up Call of Duty to what it is today, and started Respawn, were a quote-unquote indie studio, became a second-party developer with EA, created Titanfall. Titanfall may not be the financial success that EA wants it to be, that I'm sure Respawn wants it to be, but they have the reputation. They have created two fantastic games in the past, 4 years with Titanfall and Titanfall 2 that EA allegedly saw what they were doing with the Star Wars game, and that helped push Visceral out the door, because what Visceral was doing compared to what Respawn was doing wasn't even close. So EA made the financial decision, like, you know what? We want to lock these guys in. We want that talent to be in-house. We want to give them the full resources and marketing push that we can. So here's $450 million, whatever it was. Here you go. We now own the Titanfall IP. You guys can continue to work on Star Wars, and you have our full backing. Now, let's go down the road. Let's say 5 years down the road. Doesn't work out. Vince, those guys are out the door. Just like I was saying 3 weeks ago, they now have that financial security thanks to this deal. And if he wants, he go start another studio. Who do you think Microsoft wouldn't jump at the chance to have Vince Zampella and all the guys that have worked with him over the years in-house? It's not a risk for Respawn, other than they lose the Titanfall IP, but they've shown that they have the talent to keep moving forward regardless of if their IPs backed by EA wind up being a financial success. I think all of us here will agree. If you look at all the shooters that came out in 2016, Titanfall 2 was the best, if not in the top 3 discussion for best shooters last year, right?
From an overall perspective, too.
Yeah,
it wasn't just multiplayer. It was single player as well.
Single campaign was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, yeah, it wasn't the financial success that it would have been. A lot of that allegedly was pointed back at the Respawn studio for being insistent of wanting to come out in that launch window. But I think we'd all agree if Titanfall 2 would have come out this March, we'd be having a completely different discussion about Titanfall 2. If anything, it would be in our discussion right now of Game of the Year for 2017. So that's something EA and Respawn need to fix on their own. They also said they obviously still have faith in Respawn and the Titanfall IP because they basically announced that Titanfall 3 is coming at some point too, and they're doing the Star Wars game. So I get what you're saying, Danny, and I understand it. Looking at it from a fan perspective, you're like, oh, I don't want Respawn to go away. But ultimately, I think the talent, the name of the studio could change, but that core talent of people, which we've seen over the past decade, they basically stuck together through Infinity Ward and now into Respawn. If something were to happen down the road, I see no reason why they wouldn't continue to keep creating fantastic shooters. And ultimately, again, as gamers, that's all we want. So we want the Star Wars game, which, you know, like we said before, must be something amazing to the point that allegedly EA was like, well, this other studio's making Star Wars, we're going to get that to somebody else because what we see with these guys is amazing. We want to back them 100% on it, and we want them to continue to make Titanfall. So let's give them $500 million to do it. I don't see this being risky at all, personally.
And on top of that, on a much shorter development time. I mean, that's and we've been talking to key people in the industry in the background about this, and you know, some people are saying that it's speculation. Some people are saying it's not true. But considering we're talking, what is it, Source Engine versus Frostbite, considering what Respawn is able to do with that engine, you got to it goes to show why EA is showing faith in the development studio as it is to be able to throw this much money at it, to be able to acquire it because they know the talent will be able to put out a quality product. The concern is, will they be forced to adopt Frostbite now because that is supposed to be the engine du jour for all EA games? We've seen it already proliferate itself into Madden, et cetera, and FIFA. So now, are we or is it potentially that we're going to start seeing Titanfall using the Frostbite engine? Are we going to start seeing the Star Wars engine or the Star Wars game, which has been originally built in Source, being converted or migrated over to Frostbite? And my concern is if BioWare was having a difficulty, doing everything in Frostbite, will Respawn have that same concern?
Here's what I think, because we're talking about this offline a couple of days ago. Obviously, the Star Wars game is already in whatever engine it's in, be it Frostbite or if it's Source or whatever the case may be. The question would be Titanfall 3, which if it were to go to Frostbite, they obviously have plenty of time to get to understand that engine. I don't think EA is like, all right, we own you now, so immediately start working on Titanfall 3 and use this engine, and you better have it out in 2019, right? I don't think that's happening. I think they're working on that Star Wars game. It's obviously already under development, and then when that comes out, they probably turn their attention towards Titanfall 3. So it'll hopefully what EA has learned here in the past few years with BioWare and the struggles that they've had, don't force your studios to use one engine just because you own said engine. If they're comfortable using a different engine to make an amazing game, let them do what they want. So I would hope that whatever Respawn is doing it's their decision on what engine to use and not EA forcing them to use an engine. And again, with them just now becoming an EA property, I would assume whatever engine they were using for the Star Wars game, they chose it anyways. So we'll see.
I mean, do you think that is part of the contract? Do you think so or no?
I don't know. I mean, see, that's the funny thing about this. When the news came out, it was almost, oh yeah, that's right. EA doesn't own Respawn because they've worked so closely together over these past 4 or 5 years that it would almost be like Naughty Dog, it coming out and Sony says, yeah, we own Naughty Dog now, because you tend to forget that Sony doesn't own them. They are their own studio. It's just they work so closely together that it just was like, oh, yeah. So it's kind of the same thing with Respawn. So I would assume whatever contracts were signed or whatever agreements were made, I'm pretty sure Vince Zampella is a pretty smart guy. He would have put certain things in the contract language that EA isn't going to force them to do things that they don't want to do. Else, why get bought? Because going back to the original thing, I'm sure he has enough reputation. Again, let's go back to what we were talking about last time when I joined in an after show with Microsoft and pushing towards buying studios and all that. You don't think they would buy Respawn in a heartbeat? I'm sure they would. So
they would.
So it's not like Respawn was desperate to get bought. It was just a thing of great opportunity came along and they made an agreement. Whereas if stuff didn't work out, I'm sure Respawn have no problem going up to Redmond or to Sony or to whoever and get bought if that's what the case would have been. There would have been a bidding war for Respawn if they were up for sale.
I think there was another company that was trying to buy them, but EA basically got like the better deal with them.
Right.
That's what but I just can't remember which company it was, man. But yeah, I read that somewhere. Let's go to the next topic. Paris, you going to PlayStation Experience or not 100% sure?
Am I? Hi, PlayStation PR. Am I going to PlayStation Experience? Let me know. That's the plan. I mean, that's the plan to go. I've been talking to them, and basically just all the information hasn't come out yet. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to going. And then it's December 8th, which is going to be a Friday night. They're going to do their big press conference. So hopefully I'll be there for that in the audience, be able to talk about it. And then, between the Saturday and Sunday, I'll definitely go check out PlayStation Experience since it's in Anaheim, it's right up the street for me.
Yeah, there's two rumors. This is not 100%. This is just straight up rumors that there might be two major games that's going to get announced over there. One of them is Devil May Cry 5. I don't know if you guys are fans out there of that game. I am. I like that game. And also a brand new Soul Calibur. So it will be Soul Calibur 6. It's also going to get announced at PlayStation Experience during the conference. So if that happens, that's cool. Do you think they're going to have any major first-party announcements over there? Or you think they are just showing the ones that's coming out next year and that's it?
I just think the fact that we didn't see Days Gone at the Paris Game Show, I got a feeling that's going to be their big game to show off at PlayStation Experience, and they probably give it a release date. Maybe God of War gets a release date too.
But Days Gone, is that
That's the
2018 for sure? Is that a 2018 game or no?
It was a 2018 game back at E3. So unless there's been a delay now and that whole thing, I'm still assuming it's coming in 2018. And they were probably strategic for not showing it at the Paris Game Show, because maybe it gets a full blowout here at PlayStation Experience. Because you also have to think of this. They couldn't give everything away at the Paris Game Show. Then what the hell is PlayStation Experience for? So I'm assuming PlayStation Experience is a chance for them to show some of the smaller indie games, probably some of the VR stuff. And then, kind of like last year where, one more thing, they showed The Last of Us 2. I would imagine they'll have something similar, first party wise, big AAA game as well. And I'm just trying to do the math. The fact that we heard nothing about Days Gone, I'm assuming they're holding it for that. If we don't see Days Gone at PlayStation Experience, it's in trouble. It's in trouble. Yeah. And we're probably not going to see it for a while.
It's been in development for a couple of years now. It's not like this is, like last year. I mean, this has been on since like 2015. So they still haven't put an official release date for it. So that's not surprising. Sony kind of likes to let their games marinate. That's what we've seen over the last couple of years for their development teams. Just, spend time, develop, and fine tune. I mean, hell, they're the GOAT right now, right? They're number one right there next to Nintendo. I would almost put for over the last couple of years of just being able to just drop monster first party titles. I would love to see Infamous make a comeback at PSX, but that's just a pipe dream for myself.
I like Infamous.
And that's exactly why, because I like the series. I would just like to see that be like the little bomb that they drop, like whether it be at the end or whatever, because it's a title that we haven't heard a lot about, over the last couple of years.
Definitely. I mean, we'll see. And also, I'm waiting for the Game Awards if there going to be any announcements and everything there, man. So I'm excited to watch that live too. So I was thinking of like going over there. I don't know. I'm thinking about it.
I don't want you over here. No.
Wow. Really? You don't want me over there? Damn, Paris.
No, on the real, all jokes aside, like I said, the Game Awards is going to be that Thursday. Then it's PSX Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if you were to come, stay for the whole weekend and we just go to PlayStation Experience together.
Yeah, that's true.
We can go hang out with Deej.
There's a bundle. There's a bundle price on the Sony site that you could get one ticket. If you get one, you get the ticket for the other. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll talk behind the scenes and stuff. All right, let's talk about this, man. Now that I've been having my Xbox One X now for a couple of days, I think it's time for me to actually talk about this, man. So more like a review and stuff. So it's been now, what, a week? Almost a week? Yeah, it's going to be a week in a day or two by the time this show comes out, audio-wise. I'm loving it, man. The more I use this console, the more I'm like really liking it, man. One thing that I have to mention too that I think a lot of people haven't really mentioned a lot is I'm very picky when it comes to like the sound of the console. So previously, I had issues with like the first original Xbox. Plus, it gets so freaking hot, the location, because of the fan and all that. Now my PlayStation 4 is having issues. Like the fan is so freaking loud, so I might have to buy a brand new PlayStation. I might buy like either the Pro, depends on the prices, or just go with the Slim on that. But this console is so quiet. You don't hear anything, man. And this is while playing a game in 4K, and it's still quiet. The dashboard super fast. These games that I've been playing now, old and new, loading time super fast compared to the Xbox One S. And the only thing that I think maybe because I got so used to the Xbox Elite controller, I can't play the regular controller anymore. I have to just play with the Elite. So that's just me personally. But I'm loving this, man. I'm loving it. And yesterday I was playing Wolfenstein 2 in 4K and everything. And just like, you know me, I'm not really into the whole like graphics. That's not my thing. I'm more about the gaming experience, right? But I appreciate the way how all these games looks, man, in 4K, man. The more I play it, the more I mess around with it, the more I'm like, damn, these guys were for real, man. P in Paris talking about this, like, yo, Danny, you gotta play these games in 4K, man. And the difference is, like, every time I attended at an event, yeah, I play these games in 4K, but it's different just playing it at home in the living room. I don't have to worry about like being on a rush or anything like that. I'm just enjoying my gaming time. And here's another thing too that I've been noticing. Every time I download something like a game or an update, I don't know if it's the console or what they did behind the scenes, but I find the download a lot faster than the one that I had on Xbox One S. Way faster for some weird, strange reason. I don't know if it's like that with everybody else that has an Xbox One X. Please let me know. But I found a huge difference with that too, man. Overall, I think besides the whole specs thing, you guys already know, like I'm not that type of person, thinking about that stuff. But I think overall, this has been a great console made by Microsoft. Out of all the consoles, this so far has been like my favorite. But the thing that I would like to see in the future is just more games. Like right now, there's a lot of people that just started buying an Xbox One X because of the hype, or they just want a powerful console and all that stuff. So now they have a whole library. They never played Gears, never played Forza, and so on. So they have their library. But for someone like me that been having this for a long time, I would like to see more cool titles in the future, man. But I'm excited for the future. Like I see the potential, man. And every time I see a video from Digital Foundry and like other review on YouTube and on Twitter and so on, the more excited I get about the console, man. I think this is so worth it, man. So worth it. You know, so yeah, I'm now part of the 4K experience now. I'm joining your movement, guys. I'm loving it, man. I really don't know what else to say, man. Like, I'm really, really, truly loving this console, man. The more I mess around with it, the more I'm like, yo, this is so dope, man. So dope. You know, and I just appreciate like the art, you know, when you stand there playing the game and you're just staring at everything that's going on in the background and everything, you're like, yo, you appreciate everything. You appreciate gaming more, man. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some games that you play that came up from back in the days. You can't really see the details like from like the original Xbox, like the one that Albert was talking about, Fusion Frenzy, right? When you play this on the console, you see more things that wasn't there before. You couldn't see it because of the resolution and the TV that we had back then and all that stuff. So I don't know. I'm loving this console so much, man. It's so worth it, man. You know, and for someone that doesn't have a PC, this is like the cheapest way to play 4K, in my opinion, man. You know, so this and also PlayStation 4 Pro. But I'm excited. So I don't know, guys. Do you have any questions about?
Yes, I don't have any questions for you. I can do my own research. I'm kidding.
Wow.
No.
Wow, you just shut me down, son.
No.
Enhanced review.
I want to say this, and this is built mostly on what I've seen the past week from Digital Foundry, because they do amazing work, obviously, with their comparison stuff and just showing you between Xbox One X, PS4 Pro, and even PC. Mm-hmm. You know, rewind the tape, go back a year ago, because I know I was really, beating the drum on this. What can Microsoft do to justify the $500 price compared to what a PS4 Pro is going to be this holiday, which, as we're starting to see now with these deals, most likely $150 difference at $350, What Digital Foundry has been showing us with a lot of these games, Wolfenstein 2 as an example, Assassin's Creed Origin as an example, even showing, the upscale with Halo 5 now, what its enhanced version is, you're seeing near PC Ultra settings in 4K from the Xbox One X compared to what we're getting with the PS4 Pro. And that, and again, you need to be a more educated gamer as far as doing your research, because you're not going to just see this, on Twitter or something like that. You're going to need to go watch a Digital Foundry video and understand the specs and the things that they're showing you, showing the different textures and things like that. But I'm seeing it that I go, okay, that's what I needed to see. Xbox One X, even in this early in this life cycle, is a dramatic upgrade over what Sony has done with the PS4 Pro. Now, I'm still convinced that at no point was Sony trying to, quote unquote, compete with PC 4K settings. They basically said, you know what? Here's a quick and dirty, cheap alternative to get 4K-like gaming out of our current PS4 architecture, right? That's what the PS4 Pro is, and it was priced as such. Whereas Microsoft has taken it to a different level. Microsoft's like, no, we can, at $500, we can approach what PC gamers are seeing on a 1080 or a 1080 Ti, at high to ultra settings, when it comes to 4K gaming, be it at 60 frames per second or what we're mostly seeing right now at 30 frames per second, which, hey, on a console is fine if it's 30 frames per second. But I do think they need to, starting next year, really start hitting that promise, because I don't know if you've noticed what Albert keeps saying, 4K 60. So if you're going to keep saying 4K 60, I expect your first party lineup next year to be hitting 4K 60. This year it's okay, but as we see with Halo 5 is doing 4K 60 in the campaign, and Digital Foundry did that video, and it's not really dropping below 60 that much. Sure, in some super heavy stuff, it's downsampling the resolution a little bit, and then even the frame rate's dropping under 60. But let's say 85% of the time, it is hitting that 4K 60 frames per second, which gets me excited about Halo 6, which is what I've been talking about, which tells me that should be the standard for Halo 6 next year, if it comes out next year, which I'll be shocked if it doesn't. But the whole point I'm trying to make is Microsoft has delivered on what they've been saying. I'm very impressed by the tech of it. And I know it's been dubbed now on social media, Parising a lot, because I keep putting it in my damn cart and then I take it out of my cart. Like, I'm telling you right now, it's a thing now.
What?
It's a thing now. Yeah, it's called Parising. When you waffle on it. Look, hey, even the Council of Shade shamed me on Twitter. Y'all know who the council is. I won't call them out here, but I literally have it in my cart right now at Best Buy, and I can just hit checkout and I can go pick it up right after this podcast. I could literally do that right now. I haven't made up my mind yet. I'm Parising even right now. But the point I'm trying to make on that is I'm going to get one, be it today, be it tomorrow, a week from now, or 2 months from now. I'm going to get an Xbox One X. I've said a million times, I don't really need it so much so to play 4K and all that. I got my PC. If I do get it, it's going to go out in the living room. I know my son's probably going to use it a lot more than I am, but at $500, it's worth it, even for me as a PC gamer, because what they've done under the hood and what Digital Foundry has shown me, next year, we're going to see some amazing stuff. I almost cursed, but we're going to see some amazing stuff from first-party Microsoft. So it really just comes down, even third-party, and I guess that's kind of bring this all back and I'll shut up. What we're seeing from third-party games early on with the Xbox One X is we're seeing that separation. I mean, hell, even look at Destiny 2. Destiny 2 is going to be native 4K and HDR on Xbox One X, whereas if you look at the marketing language, dynamic 4K on PS4 Pro and HDR with the Osiris DLC update December 5th. So that even right there tells me here's the same game. It can hit native 4K on Xbox One X, but it can't on PS4 Pro. And I think that, and this are still early days in the development cycle for a lot of these devs with Xbox One kits, tells me moving forward, we're gonna start to see that gap widen even more on third party when it comes to Xbox One X versus PS4 Pro. So what I'm saying, and I will shut up because I feel like I'm talking way too much on this, is if you're in the market for a 4K gaming console and you got to make a choice, that $150 difference is worth the price of admission to get the Xbox One X over PS4 Pro. I'm done. I'll be quiet.
Anything from you, Pete?
Well, we've said this for a long time. If you want to go into PC gaming or see what it's like to be in a PC gaming environment, but you don't have the money to go into and start custom building your own box, throwing in a 1080 Ti, and doing all of the work of compiling the components and putting them together, or even going out and buying it. Between the computer, the monitors, the keyboards and the mice, etc., you're going to be shelling out anywhere from an easy $750 to $1,000. If you want the 4K experience, might as well get either a PS4 Pro or get an Xbox One X. At this point, $100 is a negligible, waffle between left and right if you're going to go one or the other. If you want what's at the top right now from a console perspective, because you can't go, if $500 is your max budget, I think Xbox One X is the right way to go. It's not for me yet. I still haven't seen or experienced a game that I need to go all out to go and buy one. Right now I'm not, if there's anything that I'm parsing right now, it's whether I should get a 1080 Ti versus whether I should get an Xbox One X. And that's, I'm officially putting that into my lexicon of words. But yeah, I mean, right now I'm so comfortable in PC gaming that I don't have a need to go and switch over to my living room. Yes, I spent, yesterday and the day before playing Call of Duty World at War in my living room on my Xbox One. Yes, I had a little bit of hiccuping and performance hits on the Xbox One playing that game. And if I see myself playing that more, potentially I could jump over there. If PUBG is so much fun with my friends on Xbox One, that I see the need to go and get it, I might. But right now, it's not. Right now, unless I'm seeing a monster return on investment, I don't see myself doing it. I mean, like I said, and I said it in the past, if I have enough reasons to go there, I will. But right now, I don't see enough for me to shell out the extra $500. For that, I'd rather put the $500 towards a TI.
Okay.
And I already have a TI, so
I know you do.
I don't have that. I don't have that struggle.
I hate
but you know what it is too. Like, I've been calling Paris every day, and I'm like, come on, Paris, make that. Like, I'm messing with Paris all the time.
You gonna try to take credit for him buying an Xbox One X?
I know, no, but we just having a good conversation behind the scenes, and I'm like, dude, man, like the more I play this, the more I'm like fascinated. And then I see the tweets from Paris. He posted the Wolfenstein 2 Digital Foundry, like, and they compare the Xbox One X version, the PlayStation 4 version, and also the PC version of the game. And the more videos I see like that, the more I'm like, God, man, this is getting out of hand. Like, this is dope, man. It's really, really cool to have this console,
And let me say this really quick. People that's watching right now on Twitch, and then people will be listening later on the podcast. I purposely tweet out about this stuff and openly talk about my back and forth because, I'm making fun of myself, and I know people are going to give me crap online, and I think that's okay because it's exciting. This is exciting to me. And this is where I tell people, this is why I get over all that ridiculous fanboy console war nonsense. Who really cares? And I've been seeing that going on Twitter as well. End of the day, we're all winning. Hell, if I can afford to get them all, I'm going to get them all because that just gives me the options to have them all. But I stand by everything that I've said over the past year, almost year and a half about Project Scorpio, about I want to see the justification of it. They are starting to show me the justification of it so much so that I'm having this back and forth with myself. Do I get it? Do I not get it? How much am I going to use it? And I know I kind of said this in the after show that you guys were doing Wednesday when I jumped in, but Halo's kind of what's been selling me on this because Halo's something that I can't currently play on my PC if I want to play it, right? I know that Master Chief Collection and upgrade is coming. And I think that if I don't get it now, that's probably definitely when I'm going to get it because 343 is committed to fixing the Master Chief Collection. And that's probably going to be the showcase leading us into Halo 6. And in my mind, okay, that's something that I can't play right now, on my PC. And by the time Halo 6 comes out, which I can play on my PC, my son's going to want to play. So in a weird way, this is what Parising is, where I'm having these discussions because I can look ahead and I know, all right, my son's going to want to play Halo. I'm going to want to play it with him. We're going to have a good time. I could just go get it now. It's out there and I can take full advantage of it. I see what they're doing with Gears. I see what, like I said, with the third party stuff that they're doing in it. And I'm just a fan of technology. I love the new shiny. And Microsoft is showing me, especially a lot of stuff that Phil Spencer has been saying here in the last couple of weeks, that they're committed to, this isn't a half step for them. They're going all in with Xbox One X. They've made the commitment hardware wise to give us literally the best couch gaming experience that you can have right now. And they're showing that we're going to commit on the gaming side as well. Now, they really better bring it next E3 and have some heavy hitters coming because they sure as hell didn't have them at this E3. But I'm almost willing to put my faith back into Xbox because that's the one thing that I've been saying over the years. Everyone gets on my case because I'm so critical of Xbox. I'm critical of Xbox because I love Xbox. I ain't here without Xbox. Xbox community is what got me into podcasting. It's what got me to meet Danny and Pete back in the day. It's what got me to meet Jay, and we did Uncle Gamer and all those great things that we did back in the day. It was Xbox that started all that, not PlayStation. Hell, we can barely get PlayStation PR to even return our freaking calls. So it ain't like I'm a damn fan of PlayStation that I'm blindly only loyal to them. That ain't the case at all. If anything, Xbox has been the one. Look, they slipped for a few years there. Look, I think they got a little big-headed. But they've always been the ones that have pushed community, and I think they're really starting to get back to that, and they're starting to open themselves back up to that again. And it's an exciting time for gamers because a second place Microsoft is a dangerous Microsoft because you get things like we got right now, and they're not going to just rest on their laurels right now. They're going to keep pushing it. So it's an exciting time. Them pushing means Sony's going to start pushing, and we all win. And look, and we know what Nintendo's doing on the side. Nintendo's on the side just counting dollars. They go, man, we got that Switch. We got all these amazing games. And Sony and Microsoft sees that and they're like, what can we do to compete with that too? So we all win. That's all I'm trying to say in a very long-winded way.
No, that's cool. And it's true too, Paris. And I think one of the conversations that we were having is by Phil Spencer getting promoted, Microsoft is going to take gaming very seriously, even more than before. Because there was a time that there was some doubts, like, man, is Microsoft is going to continue with Xbox? But by then, making this move, the way that we see the marketing of the console and everything, dude, they're not going away for a very long time, I think, man. This is a great opportunity. And believe it or not, a lot of people were saying, yeah, Sony is selling a lot of units, but Microsoft is making money behind the scenes, man. They're making a lot of money with Xbox Live, with everything that's there in the part of the service. And the consoles, they're selling. It's not like they're struggling, So I just want to see more investments in, like they said, studio, more first-party exclusives. I want to see that, man. It will get us more excited, So
There are so many reasons why I got into teaching.
One of the best things is the light bulb moment.
When you see a pupil suddenly understand something, that's really, really special.
Every child is so full of potential, and the thing that makes me proudest to be a teacher is seeing them realise what they are capable of.
I don't think any other job can give you the same satisfaction.
That's why I chose to teach.
You could get £26,000 tax-free to train. Search, apply to teach. Selected subjects only, subject to eligibility.
At LV, our home insurance comes from the heart. It's not just about giving you a personal claims handler to take care of you all the way. It's about looking after you in other ways too. Like when you go direct to us, buy online and get a massive 25% discount. To see how much you could save with the Which Insurance Provider of the Year 2017, go direct to lv.com. Online discount for new customers only, excludes home emergency and home legal expenses.
all right, so it's time for fan mail or what? Yeah?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. It's time for fan mail.
Fan mail at gamertagradio.com.
All right. My voice is destroyed. All right, so let's see what we have here. All right, so this is from Champ. He says, hey guys, I love the podcast and you guys kill it when it comes to in-depth info in around the gaming community. Just had a question about Rocket League and what you guys think of all the tournaments they do and how the game doing so well after 3 years. They just got in a E-League and it's coming to the Switch. Big things for a simple but dedicated game. Just wanted your take on it overall. Thanks. Thanks, Champ, for the email, man. So that's what you guys think, man. Rocket League, big game still. And now they're taking serious now with this whole E-League and all that stuff, man. So what are your thoughts about it, man?
Okay, well, I guess I'll jump into this.
Yeah, everybody say quiet.
I've been talking too much. That's why I didn't say.
I just don't know how much you guys have played it. I haven't put as much time as I should have. It's a fun game. It really is. It's silly, ridiculous fun. It's like a baby Blur to me. It's one of those guilty pleasure games that you jump in and you just know you're gonna have a good time because it's and like he says in his email. Once again, thanks, Champ. It's a simple game. You know, you drive, you try to hit the ball, you try to score, and then the randomness, because, at that point you're talking physics and geometry and whatnot and angles. And it's just silliness. And it's a really, really solid game. And, that's what's fun is almost what's been missing for a long time. It's just those general overall fun games in gaming. And so I hope to see more. I don't know or see how well it's going to do from an esports perspective. I mean, I can definitely see the allure. I mean, it's fun to watch, more fun to play. And that might be the thing that sways whether it's going to be a success or not. And I'm going to use this because it's PUBG and because yes, when you watch a PUBG game, it's almost as much fun to watch it as it is to play it. And that's almost the barometer now for esports stuff, where if you can sit there and watch a game versus playing it yourself, or you're preferring to watch it over playing it, you'll have a successful opportunity in or around an esports opportunity. You see that with games like League of Legends, where as much as I don't play it, I watch a lot more of it. If it's not, watching an LCS or what have you, watching it with my son. They just had Worlds. Games like PUBG, I've probably spent just as many hours watching various PUBG matches and games as I have playing it. That's the barometer for it. If you can see a lot of people watching it, CSGO is another perfect example. If you can see a lot of people watching it versus playing it, then you have a really good opportunity for it. So that'll be the test for it. If people can succeed, I just don't. Me personally, I don't watch a lot of Rocket League videos and stuff like that, or watch them or Let's Plays or tournaments. So it'll be interesting to see how it does. But I hope the best for it.
Yeah, like every time I watch WWE, they even have advertisements of Rocket League, and I'm like, man, this game came out years ago. Really? They're still promoting this. Yeah, still, man. So actually, from a couple months ago, they was promoting Rocket League for a couple pay-per-views on WWE. And now that the game is coming out on the Switch next week, I'm ready to. Actually, this week, I'm ready to buy that, man. I'm gonna play that like crazy on the go. So it's exciting. Nice. It's exciting, and I'm like you, P. Like I have the game, I play it, but I wasn't like really hardcore playing it all the time, because I've been trying out the games and stuff. But there's a big, huge community on that game, man. And actually, what was it, last year, they invited a couple Twitch streamers to the White House, and that was the game that they were playing at the White House while they were streaming it. And yeah, they were promoting voting, like people to register to vote and everything. It was awesome. It was cool to see that.
That's really cool.
So this is cool great for like the younger gamers, and also the older. Anybody could play this game, man. I think it's awesome, man. So it's cool. All right, Paris, you want to say anything, or we go to the next topic?
We go to the next topic. Let me read this one from Devin, and he's saying, "Hi guys, really look forward to your live show in the new year. I hope it's the first of many to come." Interesting. Okay, I'll keep going. I know it's still, I don't know, we're doing a live show now. It's 2017. I know it's still early days, but it's definitely clear that the hype for the PS5 is building since the release of the Xbox One. I have a short list of things I would like to see on the PS5 and would like to know your thoughts. He goes, number one, full carryover of game library. I want to see my PS4 disc work on PS5. I also want my full PS4, PS3, and Vita digital library to carry over and be fully playable on the PS5 through emulation. Surely the PS5 will have the power to run PS3 and Vita titles on a virtual machine. I'm hoping Paris can explain what I mean by that. Number two, full mouse keyboard support. If Sony really wants to conquer the next console generation, we're still in this one, announcing up front that the new consoles will support mouse and keyboard where developers choose to support it would be a huge shift in gaming and open up the opportunity for many PC titles to port to the console market. Sorry, I can't read. It would be awesome to hear your thoughts and ideas about how Sony might answer Microsoft in the next 2 years. Love and respect, Devin. All right, let's tackle this number two first. He's talking about full mouse and keyboard support. That's not going to happen. Sony's not going to blur that line going into PC gaming versus console. They're going to keep it strictly a console machine. So I would be shocked. I would put that at less than 10% that we would see that happening on the PS5. Now, going to number one, he's talking about the full carryover to games library. I think it's pretty much a certainty that PS4 games will carry over, especially since they're going to probably share the same x86 architecture moving forward into the PS5. Obviously, we've seen what Microsoft is doing with their backwards compatibility support with the whole Xbox One library. So I'd be shocked if that had happened. Now, PS3, maybe, because now you're basically having them admit that PS Now is a flop, if they're going to do that. So that's probably a maybe. Vita, I'm going to put even less so that they do that as well. So that'll be interesting to see what Sony does backwards compatible wise as far as bringing the older PS3 games, into the fold as they move forward, with PS5. PS4, I'm pretty sure they will. I don't know. I mean, I think, again, this is an example of what Microsoft is doing, bringing the 360 games forward, even bringing the original Xbox, some Xbox One games forward. It puts pressure on Sony to do something similar. So I still don't think we see PS5 until 2020, 2019, maybe, definitely not next year. 2019, even in my opinion, would be pushing it for PS5. They just don't have the incentive to rush it. So I think it's 2020 personally, but probably gets announced in 2019, then comes out in 2020 would be my opinion. So that's my thoughts. What about you guys?
I think they're not going to announce that to like maybe 2020, 2021. They're making so much money now. Like, why were they going to announce a new console? That's the thing. Like, it just doesn't make no sense.
Exactly.
to announce it now, I don't know. But yeah, I think years from now, yeah, but not. It's too early. It's too early for that.
I think we're in the era of the shorter development cycle for hardware because the way that technology shifts and jumps. So I wouldn't be surprised if 19 we have at least an announcement, and it gives them a year or two before they actually drop another piece of hardware. You figure 4 to 5 years is around the time that you're going to start seeing development cycles, as opposed to the 7 to 10 as was in the last couple of generations. I agree with you, Paris, that I don't think seeing PS3 games or Vita titles carry over is an opportunity for them, because they, like you said, PlayStation Now, then it becomes irrelevant, as well as that's a big time revenue stream that they lose out on, is backwards compatibility. So I don't know. That might be a decision that they staunchly say no on. Again, we're on the speculation rumor mill now. So, your mileage may vary, and, things look different in the rearview mirror at this point. I think keyboard mouse support moving forward is going to be, if not a standard, it's going to be an option as we move forward in generations, because people want that. They want that option. They want that flexibility to be able to say, okay, well, like for me, example, if I'm playing PUBG on PC and I switch over and let's say I get an Xbox One X because I want to play with my friends on Xbox Live, but I want to play on my keyboard and mouse. Will it give me a competitive advantage? More than likely. But I think as hardware manufacturers or console manufacturers go, they want to start giving that flexibility and that option to the consumer to say, look, you could play on a controller, or you can just plug in. I mean, USB is pretty much the standard now. Whether you get enough USB slots at this point is another question. Danny, how many years on yours?
Oh, what, the computer?
On your Xbox One X. Do you remember?
What you mean? How many years? What?
How many USB ports are on your Xbox One X?
Believe 4.
3. Is it 3?
Is it 3 or 4?
Because if it's 3, keyboard. Oh no, wait,
mouse, 1, 2.
Because there's the one in the front, 3. Right? 2 in the back.
Yeah, it's 3. 3 is 3.
3. So keyboard, mouse, external hard drive. That's 3. Then you can't connect anything else. So I mean, that's just. You're giving up one thing for the other. Granted, if you're not playing, you can plug in you can plug in your controller to charge it, etc. If that's even an option. But I mean, that's one thing. As long as you've got enough peripheral support, then you should be okay. And I would like to see that. But I think it might be I think it's still a little too early. And I don't know about hype for PS5 is building. I don't know. I haven't. Maybe the news has just been so oversaturated with Xbox One X news that maybe I haven't seen that cloud come over my house.
Yeah. So does it want to read the third last email?
Sure. All right. So this one is from Nick. Hey guys, I've been listening to you guys the past 3 years and really enjoy the podcast. Helps make time at work better. Haha. Anyways, I noticed that a lot of people buy brand new games and go straight to the multiplayer and oftentimes never play the campaign. Do you guys catch yourself only playing multiplayer mode? I like the stories and enjoy the whole game. Thoughts? Hope you guys have a good day, and thanks for making work more fun for an hour. Later, Nick from Indiana. Thanks again, Nick. Appreciate it. I, for one, have always jumped into the single player and as a habit, finish the single player before I can try to get into the multiplayer. Just for me, I like, I've always enjoyed that component of it, to just play. Gives you an opportunity to learn the game, learn the mechanics of the game, and learn how to use your characters, before going into multiplayer. while yes, sometimes the game doesn't fit, sometimes there's two different, objectives or 2 points to the game, and some things don't always translate. Like if you've got AI within the game, getting used to that and then going into the into the multiplayer kind of doesn't work. But with, for example, Call of Duty games, I always finish the multiplayer or the single player before I even get into the multiplayer. It gives me an opportunity to be more in tune with how the game goes and how to play, so that when I go into the multiplayer, I already have it. Yeah, at that point, I'm at a disadvantage because I haven't had a chance to level up as much like my friends have or the people that I'm playing against. But from a personal experience, that's always been my thing. So I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, for me, it depends. If the campaign is boring, then I go just straight to the multiplayer, man, and just play that and focus on that. But if the campaign is really interesting and good, I stick with that first all the way until I finish it. Then I go to the multiplayer. That's I always been doing that. Like for example, Halo, I didn't even bother playing the multiplayer until I finished the campaign, and then I started playing the multiplayer after that. So, what about you, Paris?
It really just depends on. Excuse me. I don't think Sony liked what I was saying earlier. I think for me, it just depends on the game. Like I'll take Call of Duty as an example. Call of Duty is one where I'll probably check out the single player for a little bit, and then I'm going to jump into multiplayer. And depending on how that campaign felt when I was checking it out at first will depend if I go back and finish it at all, as an example, right? Something like Halo, I'm playing the campaign, because that's what I'm there for, and then I'll jump into the multiplayer, as an example. So it really just depends. I'm trying to think of even a recent example of something that I've played that I've just jumped right into the multiplayer. I'm for the most part, I'm a guy that wants to check out campaign first, I would say.
So I think we're gonna wrap it up. All right, head over to gamertagradio.com. You can find us over there. Post your comments and feedback. Listen to our past episodes. Share with your friends. Also, you can find us on iTunes, TuneIn, Spotify, Stitcher, and other podcast directories. Make sure to download it. If you listen to us through iTunes, make sure to give us a review and spread the word. It will help us out big time, man. So
send us your feedback or questions. Give us a call at 786-273-7GTR. Email us at fanmail@gamertagradio.com or leave a message on speakpipe.com/gamertagradio.
In a couple weeks, we're going to take a week off during the holidays, during Thanksgiving week. And we'll be back, of course, to talk about the Game Awards and other things that we have a couple things planned. And also, of course, I can't believe I'm about to say this. We're about to talk about Game of the Year. That's going to be big. That's sometime next month. But wow, I can't believe 2017 is almost over, man. Insane, man. So that's it for me right now. And anything else from you guys?
No, I think that about wraps it up for the regular show. I have a couple comments in the after show.
Oh boy.
That's about it.
Okay. Ooh, it's gonna be big.
Oh, I'll say this because I want to say it so people on the podcast can hear, not just Twitch. So I tweeted this out yesterday because it literally is something I don't normally think about, but then it clicked in my head. So my son and I, like yesterday is Saturday, we were just having casual conversation. Like it literally started off with sports. Like we were talking about NBA, like the East, like who we think is gonna come out the East and what's going on with the West, what's up with LeBron and the Cavs. We were just having this random conversation. Then it kind of went into college football stuff. Then we're talking about NFL, just casual convo. Then we started talking about comic books. And we were talking about comic books, and we were talking about upcoming Justice League movie, and that led into Wonder Woman. And then I was like, you know what? Let's put on Batman, Superman. And we scrolled to the end when Wonder Woman makes her debut, against Doomsday. And we were saying how that was such a great moment in the movie. Like probably one of the only really standout moments was Wonder Woman. And then we were talking about how when Lois Lane threw the kryptonite spear in the water for no reason at all, just to then 5 minutes later have to jump back in and go get it. And that was literally just a setup so Superman could go save her, and then he dies, and how stupid that was. And then, we're just talking about Marvel stuff and all that and Star Wars. And then we started talking about video games, and it clicked in my head. And I go, this is the dream. This right here is the dream. Here I am having just not a pandering conversation. Like, we're legitimately having a back and forth conversation about all these different topics, you know, with my 11-year-old son. And I'm like, how freaking cool is that? I go, this is freaking cool. This is something I didn't have as a kid, right? Because I didn't really have a dad growing up. My dad was never there. So, but I'm there for my son. So it's like, I'm sitting here at 44 years old thinking about this, going, when he's my age, he's going to remember this. He's going to remember these conversations that he's having with me, you know, and then he's probably going to have the same conversations with his kids. And I go, how freaking cool is that? So I tweeted that out yesterday. So I just had to say that as a dad, you know, kind of realizing how my kids are growing up and the things that I'm doing as a dad that I didn't necessarily get at the same age, you know, and it's like, that's freaking awesome, man. Mm-hmm. And I hope that imprints on him so he moves it on. And then, you know, it's not just my son. I have different conversations with my daughters, but it's the same thing. You know what I mean? These are the conversations I didn't have. Hopefully they carry that on to their kids moving forward, you know? So I just wanted to say that. I want to say it on podcast so everyone can hear that. And if you are a parent and you have your kids, it doesn't have to just be about video games. It can be about freaking anything. But have those conversations with your kids, because trust me, they're going to remember them later in life. So that's all.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I had something similar with my son the other day. We were talking about Marvel movies and DC movies and what we would like to see in a Marvel versus DC movie. And we literally went like how a storyline, like I think we were talking about if we wanted to do a movie, it would be the Darkest Knight story from DC going into the DC extended universe, and then how that would play out. Like, we literally had a whole dinner conversation. It was just me and him of, okay, well, how would that story play out? Like, we could do this, we could do that. And we had iterations. We went through like 6 or 7 different versions. And every conversation with your kids doesn't always have to be a life or a lesson learned opportunity, but those little moments where you can have a full on conversation, and it's not, you know, where you're a father talking to a son, but you're talking person to person. You know, it was one of my highlights of last week, honestly. And it was a simple him and I eating burgers at a restaurant. We were just talking about comic books and just, you know, little things like that. And you know, like you said, those moments, you know, hopefully imprint onto your son and or your daughter. And I have those moments with my daughter as well, where we're just goofing off, just watch TV, or we're talking about video games, or actually we were looking at houses the other day. It was just her and I just looking at houses for like 45 minutes. It's those moments where you're just spending quality time with your kids and you're not stuck in front of a computer or video game console or what have you. And it's just those little moments. Shout out to all the good dads out there.
Yeah, because like, just to give you an example of what I have with my oldest daughter, because she's almost 16. We're talking about Meek Mill going to jail and the ramifications that's going to have on hip hop. Like, you know, it doesn't have to just be, oh, I'm a man, so I only can talk to my son. It's like, my daughter, we have crazy conversations too. And then, you know, like, even, you know, her and I have been having our Stranger Things discussion about all that stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like, it doesn't matter, boy or girl, son, daughter, whatever, man. It's just like, hey, just have conversations with your kids. Trust me, they will surprise you on the things that they know that you may not think they know about. And it doesn't have to be, like I said, a pandering conversation where you're humoring them. They can have, you know, intelligent back and forth conversations. And it's freaking great, man. And like I said, it never dawned on me that I was having these conversations until yesterday. And I'm like, wait. This is freaking cool. You know, like, let me talk about this. So yeah, it's pretty awesome.
And you know what, shout out also to the moms out there. You know, there's a lot of single parents over there, you know, that could also have this opportunity with their kids, man. You know, I had that with my mom, you know, when I was young. So, you know, shout out to all the moms out there too, man. All right, so we're going to wrap it up. Until next time. Peace.
Thanks for listening to Gamertag Radio. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Gamertag Radio is on radio.com.
You can now watch Gamertag Radio live on Twitch.
Get all the latest news and coverage related to the gaming industry.
Join hosts Danny Pena, Paris Lilly, and Peter Toledo.
Don't miss the crew record the podcast live Sundays, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Wednesdays, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Get involved with the conversation, send us questions, and be part of the show.
Gamertag Radio.
Follow us, twitch.tv/Gamertag Radio.